Hello and welcome back, everybody. So, since my last video was about my spiritual journey or my spiritual path, I figured this would be a good time to talk about what your spiritual path or journey. And I know a lot of people are looking for answers as far as they want somebody to tell them what should I do and how should I be and what is my real soul all about, right? But at the end, it doesn't matter what I say or what I think you should all be doing. All this needs to be discovered, even though that discovered is probably not the right word, because deep down inside you do know what you want to do. But because of all the problems that we've had in our lives and because we have all these wounds, we often self-sabotage. And your spiritual path, you know it deep down inside. You do know who you are. You've known this all your life, but because of everything that has happened, we believe that this is not possible, right? We believe that I can't really live my passion and make ends meet that way, right? And I would say if you do want to know what you're all about, what you are essentially the core you, what you're all about, you're going to have to let go of all the expectations that society has for us and all these people that tell us how we should be and what we should do. We're going to have to let go of that, because at the end, do you want to live somebody else's life or do you want to live your own? And hopefully people will answer, well, I want to live my life. Well, then do it up and do it as completely and fully like absorb yourself into your core. And this could be philosophy, it could be art, it could be music, even exercise, right? The things that we are at the core, we've in a sense always been, or we've always been interested. For me, for the longest time, I was very interested in psychology, but I was told that I wasn't intelligent enough to go to school and be able to get into that. And you don't need to go to school for whatever you want to do. Just explore it, and then maybe if then the calling comes to go to school, then you do that. But it is not a requirement. And even though that let's say your passion is music, it doesn't mean that you need to join a band. It just means that you should explore it as deeply as you can. And what happens is that when you explore something that you're very passionate about, you're very interested about, there's different doors that open as you explore these things. So for me, like when it came to waking up spiritually, it was first exploring religions, and then some philosophy, and then everything started to open up, right? There is other, naturopathy started popping up, and then medicinal herbs, and then homesteading and becoming self-reliant. And so at first, I didn't anticipate that I was going to go into these areas, but when you do explore what you really love, that's what happens, is that certain things, that are connected to it, like a subtopic in a sense, they start to pop up, and then we start getting interested in these things, and then we pursue these things, and then when we do that, other doors open, right? And it's all about basically just following your bliss, following what you really want to do. We all have all these things in our head that we can't do that for whatever reason, and then we make up all these stories on why we can't, and then we end up dying and then regretting that we didn't even try these things. And I'm hoping that people no longer will accept that, or that you will live the life that you always dreamt about. And if it is your calling, it will keep calling you. It will not stop, right? And I know that a lot of people, like, they haven't really spent the time to explore philosophy, or because philosophy is very broad, right? There's a lot of different viewpoints as far as how people view things, right? And if somebody, let's say, would be interested in nature, right? Well, there's different belief systems, or some of them are religion, but that are very connected with that. Like shamanism is one, Druidry is another one, Wicca, and please don't confuse Wicca with witchcraft. A lot of people have this they have this aversion towards Wicca and stuff like that. Wicca, it can be dark, but a lot of the people that get into Wicca, they just want it. They want to go into it because they love nature, right? And then you have naturopathy, right? You have all sorts of different areas where you can go into it, and some of them are not religious by any means, right? Even though that everything has a sort of philosophy behind it, it's a lot of them are not religious, right? And then the same thing with music. If you're really into music, then explore a genre that you've never really explored, but you're interested in at the same time. And that could be I don't know, tango. It could be bluegrass, that you because you figure out that bluegrass is the root of country music, and then you want to explore that, right? And again, you don't need to become a musician. You don't need to join a band. You just need to go into it, and whatever your calling will lead to, well, do that, right? Yeah, it's not an obligation. And a lot of people, I don't know why, but a lot of people, they think that, well, if I get into this, then I'm going to be, in a sense, stuck. No, you're not. You're not going to be living and breathing music every single moment for the rest of your life if you get into this. There's going to be moments where you're going to be very, very tuned to music, but other times it's going to be breaks. I love music myself, but then there's periods of times where I don't listen to much music, and then there's other times where I listen to music almost all the whole day. So you're not going to be chained to whatever you're interested in. You can jump from subject to subject, and at the same time, like I said, once you explore something, it'll open up some new doors, and then it'll veer off, and it won't be music anymore. Maybe it'll become it'll be about nature, and the thing is to explore these things as far as you can, as deeply as you can, and then keep on going with whatever you feel interested in afterwards. And the same as if you are interested in philosophy, there's different people that have different opinions on, or different angles to all of this, right? There's Kierkegaard, there's Aristotle, there's Plato, there's Nietzsche, there's William James. There's a ton of philosophers that have very different viewpoints, and some are focus on nature, right? Some of them are focus on logical thinking. Some of them are about aesthetics. And again, like, go with what you really connect with and what you want to learn and dive into. That's the most important thing, is that you explore these things, so you can start really connecting with what you align with. And then again, this will lead to new, maybe philosophers, maybe some philosophers that you'll connect with will branch into some psychology. And then, like, once you do, then explore that, right? Explore that. And never feel that you are obligated to stay into this. You can leave this aside for a while, right? Maybe you'll say, oh, I've learned enough about Aristotle now, and I'm no longer interested in him whatsoever. That's fine, right? You might leave philosophy altogether and then become very interested in psychology or spirituality, and that's fine as well. It doesn't. We don't have all these obligations and all these requirements, and we don't have to fit into the mold. You do you, right? And what you'll notice often is that when you do explore these things, it is almost that you become the things that you have explored. So you in a sense become art, you become music, you become philosophy. And that is for me like something so beautiful, that you totally absorb yourself into something that you're passionate about, and you become that, right? And one of the most important things is to just let go of all the things that we believe that we have to do in order to be somebody that's into music, or to what is required from a philosopher, and all these things, right? For me, I've never been a fan of any organized religion, because there often comes these expectations that you have to meet in order to be accepted as a Christian, or doesn't matter, Muslim or any other religion, even Buddhist, right? You're expected to be in a temple, you're expected to do long meditations, you're expected to all these expectations that you must follow the laid out the establishment. You have to follow the guidelines, right? And I find that a little bit contradictory to what true spirituality is about, being free. The soul requires, or not requires, the soul wants to be free. And the soul will never ever rest until it is free. And that's what we do when we explore the things that we are interested in. We're freeing ourselves, because we're connecting with what we feel, what we are. So at the end, the way I see us all is that we're sort of soup, and then there's all sorts of ingredients that make up the soup that is me and you. There is some salt, there is some different spices, and there's different ingredients, right? And when we get into when we start connecting with what we are interested in, and the topics in a sense become the spices, the stuff that we add to the soup that it is us. And as we explore it, it's like, in a sense, we're mixing it into these new ingredients into the soup that it is you. And then you're totally transformed. Because of this thing that you didn't get into before, you didn't explore this new spice that you didn't have before. Because you've added it, it totally has changed you, right? It really has, at a fundamental level, has altered what we are. And that's what we do when we get into the things that we love. We change into what we have explored. So at the end, it is all about you finding out what you are all about, and connecting with that as deeply as possible, right? Nobody can tell you what you are all about. Only you can decide that. So this wraps it up for this video, and hopefully that you enjoyed it again. And I'll come back in probably a couple days, and not sure exactly what I'm going to be talking about next. Imagine it'll be something connected to what I just talked about. But you all have a great day, and until next time.